Hey guys, Metal Jesus here, and I'm back down in Vegas at Pink Gorilla with Kelsey.
Thanks for being here again. Today we're going to be going through what is the biggest Xbox 360 collection I've ever seen with my eyes.
It's insane.
This is 1,228 unique titles. There's some duplicates in there too. It is nearly a full set. Kind of complicated to figure out what exactly constitutes a complete Xbox 360 set, but I'm excited to dig into these stacks. How about you?
I am so excited. Let's take a look. I think a lot of people are going to be kind of curious how you ended up with a collection like this in your store.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge collection, right? And you'd think kind of crazy to trade all of that into your local game store. It's actually a really cool story. So the guy who was collecting all of this stuff was kind of inspired by the other co-owner here, Cody. He does a Twitch channel, and he streams sometimes doing like a road trip and going around and collecting retro video games. So he had been talking about how like the 360 is a cool console to collect for all the reasons we've been saying. You know, it's a console that is fairly cheap. There's a lot of variety. All the games are on the disc. There's nothing crazy expensive on it. And so he was like, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to see if I can collect this whole 360 set, if I can get every game, and at the end, I'm going to sell it all back to you guys. So this was just what he wanted to do. This was just his goal, and we were happy to support. Obviously, he bought some of these games from us in the first place, and now we're buying them back. So just a really fun adventure that took years and years, of course, to get to this point.
I mean, it's cool that you guys helped them do that, right? That you know, something that he wanted to do.
I think it's cool that he just pulled it off.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a cool story.
All right, so I've pulled some of the more rare and collectible Xbox 360 games, and the cool thing is that this stack, all these expensive games, most of them are under $100. So that's what constitutes an expensive game on the Xbox 360. Couple exceptions, of course. F1 2013, this is a weird one because F1 2014 is not particularly expensive. And you might be like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Apparently this one was delayed and only released a little bit before 2014. So no one wanted to pick this up when there was another one, a better one, presumably just around the corner. So this one we are selling for $250. It is quite expensive. This is a very strange one and not the sort of thing we normally sell, but to a collector, this is very interesting. This is Fallout 3 DLC for Mothership Zeta, and it actually does not have a game inside. It is just a code.
Oh, interesting.
Again, not the sort of thing that we would normally sell, except that this is just something that Xbox 360 collectors like genuinely do go after, so weird one. Some people have probably heard of this one, El Chavo Kart. This is a popular kids character in Mexico and in parts of Latin America. This game came out kind of everywhere in Mexico, and then had just a pretty limited release here, but because Mexico is also NTSC, for a long time this game was cheap in Mexico. It's not anymore, of course, because all the Americans are trying to buy it. And so this used to be a cheap game in Mexico. Now it's going for about 120. Again, not crazy. And then
a Madden
this one
game
is so weird. This is not crazy expensive. Again, it's like $70, but Madden 09 en Espanol, which I think is the only time they've done this with a Madden game.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's got a
pretty cool.
totally different guy on the cover. All the back is in Spanish. It's just a little neat thing.
Yeah.
This was sold only in a couple parts of America. So just in like Texas and California and regions where you might have a lot of Spanish-speaking people. So yeah, and then there's some like really cool good games in here too. I know you've talked about this one before, Tornado Outbreak.
Yes, that has been
game.
in a Hidden Gems video on a couple systems. It's also on the PlayStation 3. Super fun.
DS, I think too.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, I don't know if it's any good on the DS.
It's really fun. That's a surprisingly fun game, and I'm glad to see it here.
Yeah,
so,
who doesn't want to play as a tornado?
Yeah.
What a great idea. Deadly Premonitions, kind of an infamous.
Yes.
This is not super expensive. It's like $40, but it's an infamously so bad it's
Janky
good
kind of
B-movie game. Love it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
The Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions is really cool because you get to play as different Spider-Men.
Oh.
Yeah, so it has the future Spider-Man, it has the noir black and white one where you play mostly stealth, you've got the regular. That's a really fun Spider-Man game, actually.
Yeah, the Spider-Man games on 360 have all kind of gone up in price, and that's one that I don't understand super well. Again, none of these are like wildly expensive.
Yeah.
We're just talking like $60,
Yeah.
but I don't know, kind of weird.
I heard there are a lot of sports titles on the 360.
Yeah, we tried to separate them out over here to these three giant stacks, but oh look, I found another one. The Xbox 360 was such a good system for sports games. Now, I'm not an expert in sports games. I'm probably not the best person to talk about it, but there are some interesting ones here. Most notably, for a long time, these NCAA games were really expensive. They finally started coming down in price quite a bit. Because they started making NCAA games again. But for a long time, that was like the last one. And so anyone who wanted to play college football was kind of stuck getting these old Xbox 360 and PS3 ones.
You know, I'm looking at some of these I recognize them as very collectible and hard to find on the PSP.
Yeah.
So this one right here on the PSP was brutal for me to try to find. Also, you see some like Nicktoons, which is a baseball game. That's wild.
Yeah, and the other thing, I mean, just like the PSP, like you were saying, is they did keep putting a lot of the sports games on the system way past when, you know, the 360 was a super relevant console, and those tend to be the really rare and expensive ones. FIFA 19, I believe, is the latest release
Wow, that
on the
is
360. That's so late. That's like 7 years after the Xbox One came out.
Wow, wild. And of course, then you have Blood Bowl.
Blood Bowl.
That's cool.
So lots of sports games, not a lot of JRPGs. I tried to separate all of them out. I'm pretty sure I'm missing a couple here, but even like 3 of these are just the same MMO, different expansions for Final Fantasy XI Online. So yeah, not a very great console for JRPGs, but the ones on here are pretty good. Tales of Vesperia is one of my favorites. Nier is also a really incredible game. So
Lost Odyssey is obviously really popular.
yeah, some stuff worth playing for sure. There are a ton of racing games on the Xbox 360. I tried to pull all of them. We all tried to pull all of them, and I'm sure we're missing some
I think
here.
we'd still find more.
Yeah, but I know that racing games are really your thing, and you know a ton about them.
Yes.
So, I mean...
But I didn't know about Pocket Bike Racer.
Yeah, so this is one of those Burger King titles. There were those 3 Burger King titles, and something neat you might notice, it's in an Xbox 360 case. It's got the Xbox 360 branding, but it doesn't actually say Xbox 360 now, does it? It says Xbox, and that's because this is an Xbox game.
I had no idea that that was the case. That's wild.
It works in your Xbox 360, of course. The Xbox 360 is mostly backwards compatible. I guess technically it is slightly less than mostly backwards compatible. I think it's like 48% of the library or something along those lines. But yeah, that is actually an Xbox game, but I think most people consider it part of the 360 set because it's, you know, that's clearly what they were going for here.
That's wild.
This is kind of interesting. There's 2 Need for Speed Most Wanteds, and I really wish they had called themselves something different because this makes it enormously difficult to look up. One of them is worth like, you know, maybe $10, and the other one is worth like $70. So these are very different titles here. So this is actually a reimagining of this one, which came out in 2005, so a very early title here. And by and large, people don't really like this one. They like this one. This one doesn't really have a story mode, less to do in it, and this is kind of the OG that everyone loves. This, of course, also came out on PS2 and original Xbox.
Nice. Yeah, I love this system for racing games. I mean, if you are today missing all those arcade racing games, there's so many to be found in here, including Blur. This is Mario Kart meets Need for Speed, so it's all licensed cars. Plays very similar to Mario Kart where you have the power-ups, but it's fantastic. Such a great game. I wish they would have made a sequel to that. We
just talking about some cool games on the system now?
Woohoo!
All right. I think the 360 has some really cool like compilation collections. My favorite of which is the Dreamcast collection.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you were starting a Dreamcast collection, this is kind of like what I'd say to get. So why not just get it on your Xbox 360? There's also some Konami collections. There's a Namco collection. There's a few more too. I didn't pull all of them.
Yeah, it's cool to have all those games physical like that.
So here's one that I wasn't as familiar with, but I'm guessing you are.
Yeah, this was a total surprise. So in this generation, a new game developer wanted to reboot the King's Quest series, and they got Ken and Roberta's blessing, and they kind of play like Telltale games.
They look like Telltale games. And there's a bunch of Telltale games, speaking of which, on the system. Like this Back to the Future one, which is one of the older ones from the Telltale collection, but also Wolf Among Us. And
there was a ton of them that generation, for sure. Yeah. Tell me all about the Kinect.
Okay, hear me out. I know Kinect games are not very popular to collect, but first of all, purple boxes. That's cool, right?
Yeah.
But there's some interesting ones on here. I mean, they made a horror Kinect game. Now, is it a great game? No. But you don't have to think about that. It's a horror Kinect game. That's
and it probably
weird.
costs $1.
It's not very expensive. No. The Just Dance games, of course, are still fantastic, and they made them pretty late into the life cycle here.
Honestly, that's kind of what the Kinect turned into, was that sort of, I mean, a lot of people loved using the Kinect for dance.
Yeah, and Dance Central, and
right.
I mean, it's just a great party system for sure. So this is a funny one that I don't see very often.
Yeah.
It's Kung Fu High Impact game. And of course, the Kinect Star Wars.
Which
Han
is
Solo dancing. Come on.
Han Solo dancing. Come on. It's worth it.
But this is one that I don't see very often that I want to point out because it is very silly. This is a basketball rhythm game, and you do rhythm game stuff with a basketball.
I don't even understand that, but it does sound kind of cool.
It's kind of cool, right? So that's what I'm saying. The Kinect is kind of an interesting thing, and to get started is dirt cheap. Kinects are a few dollars. Every game store sells them for the most part for under $10. So.
That's cool.
Okay, so I have a surprise for you because this is actually not from this trade-in at all.
Okay.
But I brought them from Seattle because I found them at a Goodwill in Seattle, and I thought they were interesting.
Really?
So these are promotional European Xbox 360 copies. Now these are kind of weird. There was a huge stack of them, so I actually have even more than this, and I'm probably going to put them in the store, even though they are very weird, and I'm not sure if people are going to be interested in them. There's a couple of ways that these exist, right? So obviously this would be what was sent to like a press or something like that. But apparently it is also just what they did whenever they were like bundling games. So if this came with like a controller or a console or something like that. So for that reason, they're not really like crazy exciting. This isn't like a not for resale situation.
It's
where,
a variant though that collectors would probably be interested in.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. And then what's really interesting about them is this is what the discs look like.
Oh, wow.
So they look really janky and not for resale. But there's not like, there's more of these than you'd think there are. But this art with the like desaturated and the big yellow band over it, it's so ugly. And as you can see, they did it in like all of the different European regions here.
That's wild. I've never seen that before. That's crazy. That's
Some of these are sealed too.
I wonder if those, because it was in Seattle, maybe it came from a Microsoft employee or marketing person or something.
But they're all European.
Yeah. Well, but
weird, right?
Yeah,
or
that's true.
Australian too. Some of them are Australian.
Huh. Crazy.
Yeah.
The cool stuff you find at Goodwill.
So this is also unrelated to the collection that was traded in, but you know, we're talking about the 360 and cool collectible stuff for it, so why not? These are a couple of different developer consoles here. They're not dev kits, they're just consoles that were given to people who worked on the Xbox. So this is the I Made This launch team one, and you can tell that these are special because they actually are green on either side.
Yeah, that's really cool.
This one is missing the hard drive, unfortunately, which is also green.
The faceplate looks really cool.
Yeah, the faceplate's really cool. And then this one, it's just a regular Xbox 360, but this faceplate, it's also like a launch team one, but this one in particular was for like developers working on games and stuff, is my understanding. So it's just two different faceplates. This is the thanks for playing with us one, and it's got a really cute little
the cartoony
monster design here. And then of course there was a matching controller that looks just like a regular Xbox 360 controller, except for that nice little band of lime green. I love this color combo.
Yeah.
What a great, memorable color combo.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. That's cool. All right, that's a look at this crazy Xbox 360 collection.
Yeah, this is such a cool set, and I don't know, I feel like we've learned that it's a good time to collect for the Xbox 360. A lot of these games are not crazy expensive.
Yeah.
The set as a whole, I mean, obviously it's a lot of games, so it'll get expensive if you're going for a whole thing, but most of them are not too bad, and the games are just kind of on the disc, you know? You just pop them in a console.
What a concept! I know, it's so funny. And you know, we're getting nostalgic for the Xbox 360 now. It's been, what, 20 years?
Yeah, 2005.
I know, and the games still look and play great. So yeah, I love collecting for it. So, all right, well, thank you very much, guys, for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and take care.